Small business owner check. This is my name. This is the name of my company. This is what my company does. This is why I love what I do. This is an accomplishment I'm proud of. This is where you can find me online. And if you're a small business owner, introduce yourself in the comments and let's support.
So, what was the laughter about?
Can you see my face?
Nah, I did not.
I wasn't prepared.
So, welcome everyone to another episode of A Seat at the Dinner Table. I am Taman.
And I'm Kim.
And we are the Matthewses.
Silly.
And this evening we are going to be discussing being a millennial parent.
Yes.
But first, we want to thank our sponsors.
You're welcome.
As she's wearing a lovely ensemble of Simply Shondell, which you can go to www.simplyshondell.com for all your handmade, creative.
You know why I chose these?
Polymer clay earrings.
I'm sorry,
that are light as a feather. Yes.
These are from, I don't know if you can see them. These are from the Ellen My Dear collection.
Ooh.
And she has a birthday coming up.
You're right. You're right.
It'll be your first heavenly birthday.
Happy birthday to Grandma Ellen.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not sad right now.
All right.
I promise I'm not sad right now.
Okay.
But these are for her.
So, for dinner.
I have salmon, cauliflower rice to cauliflower, and broccoli.
Ooh.
Can you see that?
Don't tip it, man.
Yeah, I hope it don't fall.
And I have the same without fish, without salmon.
Yeah.
So moving on. Being a millennial parent. One knock I want to say, I found out that I spelled millennial wrong. So that was a needless to say.
When did you find out?
I found out 30 minutes before the show. Yeah, so spell check needs to be in my my tool belt.
And I can't even put it all on you because I looked at it and approved it. So the double check was, I was lacking too. So I'm sorry, but that's because I just skimmed over it. I looked at the design and I was like, that's cute. I like it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Canva.
Right.
So we are millennials.
Yeah.
Aren't we?
Sir. What is millennials? The age group, like?
I think it's like 81 to 95.
Wait, what? Oh,
1981 to 1995.
I could say 81.
Or yeah.
To 95.
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy. 95 feels like it was like 10, 15 years ago. Still.
Definitely what? That's 95, 2005, 15. So they're 20s, they're late 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's crazy.
We are in our mid 30s. We're gonna hold on to that mid.
Yes.
Yes. But I caught myself with the
needless to say. I say all that to say. Those your go-to phrases. Go-to phrase.
Oh man. So what is your thoughts when you first hear like the term millennial for one?
In my mind, I hear turn of the century. I don't know why. That's all I hear is turn of the century though. But I don't really know. I know that's our age group and stuff, but I don't really know like what comes to mind. It's like Lord, no offense to anyone, but like a younger hip age group of parenting. That's what I think of. What do you think of?
You mean a millennial parent or millennial?
Millennial, sorry.
Millennial in general, like you said, at I think the year 2000, the Y2K, when we thought that the world was shutting down.
Oh my God, yes.
And all of that.
Everybody was scared when the clock struck 12.
Yeah. But I think that we're in a space to where like we were able to see and experience life without technology,
right?
And then come into not life without technology, but more so
the beginning stages of it.
From the
Word
Ataris
processors
to word
Yo,
processors.
I remember my aunt had a word processor, and I wanted to play on it so bad because it was different, it was new, and I'm like, I know it's got some games on it. And I'll never forget, it was black with orange writing, like the whole screen was black and just orange.
Well, I was about to ask you what year that was, but I'm not going to do that. I remember I had a word processor, and I thought I was going to be able to get the internet and get on the internet. Needless to say, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
So, but I think that we are at a pivotal point, especially like now, to where technology has sped things up so fast, and we were able to be in a position to where we can appreciate not having social media, not having phones, not having all of that, but also being able to adjust.
I seen a post, and it was like, can you imagine if we had Ring cameras when we was growing up?
Oh my gosh.
I've seen that, and I was just like, yo, there's some things that'll just be taken to the grave. But these kids, there's no way around it.
Yeah.
Because even with the Ring camera, you have to go up to it to cover it up. And by then you know something's going on. So then you're gonna be suspicious anyway.
Everything is on camera now.
Everything. This is not wine. This is not an adult drink. This is actually crayon apple. Bang it.
Even if it was, it's your wine though.
You're right. You're right. But I also when I hear the word millennial, my mind goes back to like you said, the 2000s, and they're doing like the millennial tour now. It's like nostalgia.
Yeah.
Definitely like nostalgia.
With being in this day and age, of course, parenting is a lot different when it comes to how you do things with your kids. So we're parents, parents of 3. I had the pleasure of having 2 girls and a boy. And
you okay?
What is your
Oh man.
What do you think is your biggest lesson with being just a parent in this age?
What your parents did is not going to work all the time for you as a parent. There are some things that I hear my mom and my grandma and me when I'm parenting my kids. And there are some things I'm like, yo, that was just, I ain't gonna say jacked up, but there are some things where it's just like, I'm not taking that route. I'm not doing that. I want to do better because I know how that affected me. What was your question?
Affected you in what way though? Because you turned out good.
Let you tell it.
Yeah, let me tell it. That's what I'm telling.
No, I think I turned out good, but I still have like a lot of emotional things. Like I can't stand to be yelled at. I can't stand to be demanded on what to do. And that's not just from like my mom yelling at me, but just seeing other people getting talked down to and degraded and whatnot. Mind you, my mom never, of course, you do something stupid, like, what are you, dumb? Like that. That's, in my opinion, not degrading to me because it make you think like, yeah, that was stupid. But there are some parents who like literally degrade their kids and cuss them out, cuss them down, cuss them up and everything. And I've seen that with other people. Then I've seen like adults talk to other adults like that as I was a child. And I don't like it. I don't like when you can ask me, tell me do anything in the world if you ask me, but don't demand it of me and don't try to force it on me because you're not gonna have to. And so because I know how that is with me, I try to be like that with the kids.
Got you.
Like I try to give them that option. Sometimes I'm like, yo, do what I said. But that's because I didn't give them like 3 chances and they're still not listening. So that's the difference. Something for me.
I think my biggest lesson has been to try to use the advancement of technology as a tool and not like a crutch. And what I mean by that is like a lot of times you see the discussion that's been had is always with like tablet time, electronic time. That's always a mainstay when you're talking about parenting now.
Even the doctors are pushing it.
And I mean, like with my oldest, YouTube had first started when my oldest was born. And then the phones and the tablets and all of that started to come. But I use that. What's going on, Chris? How are you doing today, good brother? Shout out to Mr. Hopkins. Um, I I wanted to use it to where the things that I felt like could help, I wanted to push that narrative.
Mhm.
So
As far as like the tablets and stuff, like YouTube
yeah,
and
the
stuff.
tablets. Because I mean, you get exposure to different
Mhm.
kid videos,
Right.
and with that, it's not just what was on TV, what was on PBS, Sesame Street. Even though I feel like Sesame Street is a fundamental childhood because there's so many life lessons and all of that. It's just, but just being able to actually venture out and able to actually help my kids to maneuver through YouTube when they were younger
Mhm.
and see how much they wanted to they love the fact of watching new stuff and learning new stuff and just
Mhm.
understanding that they were sponges. I think that was the biggest lesson, because I see now, like in my kids, of course, like all three are smart, and I'm saying that unbiasedly, like not just as their parents, but just as kids in general. I feel like my kids our kids are extremely smart.
No,
And
they can be yours, friend.
I
I don't want you to get mad when I be like my kids.
But I think that foundation helped a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and just trying to use that. However, it's been a detriment because now the older ones,
Really just going to say
Yeah.
it kind of backfired a little bit.
yeah, so the older ones are now obsessed with YouTubers, and of course, it's like nothing's wrong with it. It's just
No, here's what's
the
wrong with it.
obsession.
They sit there and they watch other people play games.
Yeah,
It's like, what?
that bothers
They
me.
watch other people play with toys. You asked for this toy for Christmas. Why are you watching a YouTuber play with the exact same toy you got in the corner
Yeah,
and you ain't touched it?
yeah.
That's the downfall for me. It's like you're literally watching someone play with Barbies. Mr. Siani. And then she got my baby hooked on it. He watched people play football.
Yeah.
It's kind of beneficial for him though because he's learning plays.
At times, I mean, but he's the younger one, so like I kind of expect that.
Mhm.
I wanted more so for the older to use it more as a tool and not as entertainment. When it comes to electronics, I mean, of course, electronics are entertaining, but you have a lot of valuable information that can help you in school. I mean, like if we had all of this in this school, like I would be asking a lot more questions and
Mhm.
would have been a lot more intrigued. Like, because one of the things is like when you have an English paper, right?
Mhm.
And or a book report, and you find out that the book is a movie, right? And then you watch the movie and it makes the book come alive. So now you have all these videos on these different school subjects that makes things come alive versus just having a textbook in front of you.
You're right. You're definitely right about that because Siani got excited about watching the Harriet Tubman movie.
Mm-hmm.
She got excited about watching Aretha, even though she left me and didn't finish the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But because she learned about it in school and then came and watched the movies, it gave her a broader understanding of what she learned.
Right. So on the flip side, what I'm not gonna say, well, I already said lesson, but do you think that do you think it's easier or harder versus the baby boomers, which would be our parents?
I think it is harder because when we were growing up, we were able to go outside, ride around, not even just the neighborhood, but the daggone city. We were able to ride around the city, group of kids, and there wasn't much of a fear of who you gonna meet. Are you talking to a stranger online? Are you giving out information online that somebody in a whole other country can be tracking you with?
Mm-hmm.
So, like now we're at a point where you want a camera in your backyard just to make sure nobody walks by and snatches your kid,
Right.
and things like that. Or you're monitoring what they're doing online just to make sure like they're not in the chat room talking to someone giving out information. Excuse me, because these kids, they're predators that pose as kids. They learn the lingo of kids and they
Right.
talk to kids. Then they get their trust. They go through that whole grooming process. They get their trust, and then they give up information. And the kid is like, "Oh, that's my friend. I've been talking to him for months." And it's really not. It's a grown man or a grown woman on the other side of the computer. So our parents didn't have to worry about that.
That's true.
Our parents also didn't have to worry about, like, if you came home from school and you were outside and your neighbor saw you, your neighbor's actually going to keep an eye on you.
Yeah,
Nowadays, you can barely get a lot of people don't know their neighbors' names.
that's true.
A lot of people don't even know who's living in their neighbor's house because it's a different time.
Yeah, it is.
It's a different time.
It definitely is a different time, especially when, I think more so because we have social media, so a lot of the stuff that we hear about isn't from directly the news, so that makes us more aware.
Right.
And not saying that these things weren't able to happen when we were younger.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there was not a lot, but you know what I mean, as far as like there were kidnappings, there were situations that happened when we were younger that parents would probably say back then. Of course, they thought about it, but it wasn't as prevalent as now because it's a lot easier with the technology to do a lot of things and draw kids in and whatnot.
Yeah.
So versus us to where like we just want to see, all right, where my friends' bikes at so I can find out where they're at. You know what I mean?
Pop up when you see a bunch of bikes sitting out in the front yard.
Whose house are they at?
Right.
So,
and even still, back then, I feel like if I used to go to my friend Keisha and Denise's house, my mom could call their mom. Is Kim over there? Yeah, she over there. Or my mom, or Andre's mom would call my mom. My brother would get mad. He would go over to Miss Shake's house, and Miss Shake would call my mom. Just let you know, I know y'all done had an argument or something. Brian's here. Brian over my house. He can stay. Or this, that, and the other. Like, we don't even have that now.
It was like more of a village.
Yeah.
To where like everyone looked out for each other. And
right.
I think we as millennial parents need more of that. I think that's one thing that the baby boomer generation and even generations before that, it was a lot of, we know what goes on in our neighborhood, but at the same time, we know that such and such is on this block. We knew pretty much within like a 4 or 5, I think it's a mile radius.
You definitely can't say mile.
No, but at least a mile radius that you knew different people and different parents and different, because I mean, you go to school with these people. So of course the parents are going to interact. If they're in the same, if they grew up in that area, then they know each other. You know what I mean? Like I know in the area that I lived in and was raised in, it was, everybody knew everybody. Like, oh, you such and such son. Such and such is your mom. So that's this and that, whether it be from church, whether it be from sports. So it was a well-knit community to where like you said, if somebody got in trouble over on this side, somebody would call, hey, Brian is over here, or hey, Kim is over here. Everything's okay. You know what I mean? So I think that we as millennial parents can learn from that. To be more, I guess, open when it comes to the neighbors. Yeah. We're venturing out.
Still gotta be discerning though. Of some weirdos.
Of course. But you just gotta know your neighbors and do some interacting so that way when they stop at the mailbox, hey, I seen you such and such, and it doesn't feel like a weird type of vibe. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So
one thing I feel like, I'm not gonna say it doesn't happen because I don't know about other households. I was just thinking about when Siani was invited to a birthday party. Back then, you get invited to a birthday party, you show up most of the time. You know what I mean? Like nowadays, you got to damn near interview people of who like expect. Okay, so let me clear this up. She didn't just go to a regular birthday party; she went to a sleepover.
Yeah, so
she went to a sleepover.
That's definitely different.
You got to interview people because I can remember going to a sleepover. I don't know if my mom talked to the parents or whatnot, but it was okay because that's how it was back then.
Yeah.
It's my friend from school. It's really like a close friend of mine. I want to go. Can I go? And I was able to go to a sleepover. But then as you get older, you ain't having too many sleepovers when you get older. Not like that unless it's somebody that's like really, really close with you. Katie.
Hi, Katie. Says yes, face-to-face conversations are lacking in neighborhoods now. My elder neighbors have no problem coming over when we are outside. When people my age, they barely wave.
Barely wave.
Yeah.
Yes. You know who she is? That is Billy's wife.
Okay, shout out. Hey,
Billy.
I mean, I kind of thought that with the last name.
Mm-hmm. See,
But I
we used to
didn't
go
know.
over her house after basketball and stuff. Her mom and her dad would host us.
Mhm.
We'd be over their house all the time. Great food. Great food. Miss them days. Man, miss those days. But yeah, like I try to make it. I'm a little different. I'll speak to people. Now,
You definitely will speak to people.
if you don't speak back, you're gonna get so many more from me.
Right.
But initially, I will speak to people,
Mhm.
regardless if we talk or not, just because it's like, listen, this is a friendly face over here.
Right. I think you said, like, you said earlier today, you was like, why you look so angry? Or why you look pissed off?
Mm-hmm. All the time, every day.
See, say that again.
All the time, every day. All the time, every day. He looks angry and pissed off.
Okay. But is that my demeanor?
No,
Okay.
it's just
So
your look.
if I'm outside, this is my thought process that if I'm outside, I may look
Angry, pissed
not
off.
approachable.
Right?
But then when I give a wave and I smile, that lightens down the guard. So I really try to do that, especially with all that has happened with
You being this 6'5" black man.
There you go. There you go. There you go. So I definitely want to. Hey, how you doing? I'm not fake with it, but at the same time, like I like genuine, just like, hey, how you doing? Because I mean, at the end of the day, like, as long as you ain't doing nothing wrong to hurt nobody or to physically hurt yourself, we cool. You know what I mean?
And it's like you ain't got to be in everybody's business just to say hi or to look out for somebody's house. Like
right.
I can give you an example. So a lot of you guys know we just moved. It's been a month. It's been a month.
Telling all our business.
Okay. We moved, and where we lived at previously, we were there for 9. It would have been 10 years this year. So we knew all of our neighbors on our little block, in our little cul-de-sac area.
9 years, 8 months, 22 days.
Really. But we knew everybody. Everybody knew us. Everybody watched our kids grow up. So it was kind of bittersweet when we left. But with our neighbors, especially our very next door neighbor, she went out of town, and we knew that she went out of town. There was packages and things that she didn't expect was arriving to her house. And just being neighborly, we took her packages in and held it, knowing that she was going to be out of town for a while. And there are some people, they don't care. They just sat out there and let the packages just sit in the rain and everything get destroyed.
Yeah.
So she was very grateful of that. But that's just being, in my opinion, being neighborly.
Mhm.
Like we were outside and she would come out with her son. She's like, I got to run in the house real quick. Can you just keep an eye on him? That's how it should be. And vice versa.
So we're seeing this like Katie said, amongst people our age. Why do you think that is? Because I mean, like we all
It's rude.
you say we're rude.
Yes. Our age group is rude and ignorant sometimes.
I mean,
We have this
like,
demeanor, don't bother me.
You said say that again?
We have this demeanor of don't bother me.
Okay, so how does that affect how we parent our kids and how they grow up? Because I mean, if we have that type of attitude and whatnot, then they're going to be standoffish as well. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's just separation.
I think it's a matter of just trying to break out of the shell. Because like people our age are like that. But if you're open-minded, and willing to actually listen or try, I don't know.
You got trust issues? Think we got trust issues?
I don't know what it is. I think it's just so much has gone on, so much has happened. Like people, I feel like sometimes people feel like they're entitled to you in your life when you open the door just a little bit. It's like you can speak and wave, and now you feel like you need to be in my business every single day, and that's not the case. It's just like they cross boundaries, maybe. I don't know.
So one thing is that like it is how can I like
I don't know.
we've been through a lot. Where I think we got trust issues. If you just think of the overall pattern, like we.
You mean like people our age?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like things that we've seen.
Me and you.
As far as like, okay, so 9/11,
Mm-hmm.
economic crash.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard things about kidnappings all over the place and missing, and now you see on TV where social media brutality going on, all types of craziness. So I think a lot has to do with trust issues, and I think that I mean the world is quite different nowadays, and I think that there needs to be more unity among us millennial parents, because I think that that was one of the things that helped our parents, is the fact that they were able to rely on another person their age in their age bracket or whatever to, I know my kid is over that way, and I know that such and such is going to keep an eye on them, and they just had that innate like feeling or whatever it is, and I don't think it was like a family within a family, like that type of thing. And I think that, I mean, I know that among like our groups and our friends and whatnot, she said, yes, trust issues, very guarded. That is true. I think that we just need to come more together. Like I was saying, like the group of friends that we call them bros and sis, and we have them as family and whatnot, but we don't live in the same neighborhood. You know what I mean? If we did, of course, it's like, yeah, I got you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
kind of like when Kamara lived down the street from us, down the sidewalk from us, and she would call me, "Hey, Leah won't come over," or Siani can come over, and we just call like, "Hey, you see him? All right, they there."
Right. So I think there just needs to be, I ain't gonna say needs to be, but I think in order for us to be better parents as a whole, there has to be more of unity and not necessarily of individualism or separation. I think that that'll help, and we can learn from one another.
Yeah. One thing that I think ties into it, but I don't really know how. There are some people who just absolutely do not want another adult to say anything to their child. Discipline wise. And discipline is not just putting your hands on someone, but there are so many people who don't even want you to correct their child's wrong behavior. And I think that, in a sense, is a problem.
But I think that goes back. Respect your elders?
Yeah, but if it's not being taught.
Okay.
Not even that, because I'm not even going to say that, because kids will be kids. When they can be taught everything in the world, but you never know. Siani might be a little smart mouth to an adult. Even though she knows better, I can't see her doing that either. But even though that, like, you teach your kid and your kid knows better, when they're not around their parent, kids are jerks. So that's a thing too. That to me, that's the thing. And I've seen plenty of times where people are like, "Don't say nothing to my child." So if I see your child being mean to someone else or bullying someone or absolutely doing something wrong and could possibly hurt themselves, you're going to be mad if I correct your child or stop your child.
Right.
There's been plenty of times that I've corrected a child though. And I'm like, yeah, you can go tell your mom, because I can't, as a person, I can't sit there watching a kid like doing something, being mean to someone else or doing something that I know they're going to hurt themselves or someone else, and I not say nothing.
Right.
That's something that I can't do. But there are some people who just yeah.
I also think though that like we as millennial parents have to be more innovative when it comes to raising our kids.
What do you mean?
And what I mean by that is there's a lot of life lessons that was taught generations before us. And there's things that we will say like, oh, they got it wrong or this and that and the third. But of course, like everything evolves. And I think that where we as a generation can be more receptive to like listening to the child and not necessarily like having them in control, but really having it to where there's not necessarily a fear for them to talk to you, but more so a respect and openness, like you said. Yeah, I respect that. Like, I'm going to tell my mom and my dad this and that and the third. I may get in trouble or whatever, but more to where it's not a lot of hiding around and whatnot. Because I mean, nowadays it's hard to hide with all these cameras. Right. Let's be honest. It was a lot easier to hide and do stuff and say I did this and whatnot, as far as like grades, boys or girls,
being somewhere you're not supposed to be.
Exactly. So like now I think it's to the point to where if there's a lot more of transparency when it came to parenting and letting your kids know that it's okay for them to talk to you and getting to know that they got a lot of your tendencies, whether you think so or not. You learn a lot about yourself and your children.
Yes, right on that.
But I think that in itself would help the generation going forward, because then they'll see that and relay that with their kids and be more open, because I mean, you got the metaverse now. It's a whole different.
So what the hell is that?
No, that's the whole different universe and all of these things, and like, it's just a lot of things that's evolving. You just want to be aware.
I know that growing up, we were not allowed to question our parents. I say my mom because my dad wasn't around, but I wasn't allowed to question my mom when she told me to do stuff. It's probably why I got popped from my mom most of the time, because I'm a type of person who questions things. And if it doesn't make sense to me, I don't care who it is. I'm going to ask in a respectful way, but I'm going to ask, why did I do that? Well, what do you want to do? I can't tell you how many times I got knocked down.
You just sound like my son. Why?
But I, as a parent now, I allow my kids to ask me why. If I tell them to do something and they genuinely don't understand, ask me why, and I can explain it to you. And I also try to do a better job of explaining something to them when I tell them to do something. Like, Cassiani give you this look like, what are you talking about? But I'm going to do this, and I'm probably going to do it wrong because I don't know what you're talking about. So I try to take the time to explain to her and to allow her to tell me what she's thinking, what her thoughts and feelings are. And I'll take it even a step further. I allow them, I don't know about you, but I allow them to tell them that they're mad at me about something. Not going to change a thing, but you can speak up and tell me that you're mad at me about something, and I'm sorry that you're mad about that, but this is what it is.
And that opens it up to where they can actually talk to you when it comes to later on down the line. Because why are you laughing?
Thinking about Nehemiah the other day.
You gotta worry about him for two. I mean,
no, because I told you I yelled at him for something because he kept asking me questions while we were talking, and I was like, sit in a recliner and stop it. So he started tearing up. And afterwards, I was like, did mommy make you sad? He was like, no, I wasn't sad. I said, but you were crying. And he literally said it just like that. I said, but you was crying. He said, I wasn't sad. I was mad at you.
So it was upset and frustrated.
I can respect that. I can respect that.
Hello, Miss Shorts. She says, I think asking questions are fine. I think it teaches them that if something isn't right or doesn't make sense, it's okay for them to speak up and question it.
Yes. Here's a bigger thing too. There was a question going around, should you apologize to your kids? I 100% think you should apologize to your kid when you are wrong, because you are the first person to teach them, and it teaches them that they can apologize and how to apologize when they do something to someone or hurt someone. Yes.
Now, I would say that to an extent.
Well, I'll clear it up. I will apologize to them for saying something that hurt their feelings. And I will clarify, I do not apologize for what I said. I apologize for how I said it to you and it hurt your feelings, because my message is my message, and that's what I mean. Right. So to clear that up, that yes, I will apologize to them. Or if I was completely wrong for something, I'll tell them, mommy was wrong. I messed up.
I've had some moments. I've had a few moments. But a few moments where in the moment, it's like, you did what? And might go off the handle. I'm getting better.
Yeah, you are. Man, shoot, I've had moments where I'm like, go do this, do it now. And Sienna be like, I already did. I have to apologize because I literally just yelled at you because I assumed that you didn't do what I told you to do, and you did. Now I look stupid because I'm yelling for nothing, but it deserves an apology because I would want an apology if somebody accused me of doing something that I didn't do or accused me of not doing something that I know that I did.
Right.
I would want the apology, so it teaches them.
The times of kids can't speak. What? Hold on.
The times of kids can't speak is what got a lot of our ancestors touched. Or secrets happening. Oh, that type of touch. Yes, 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 yes. Or secrets happening to kids and they're afraid to talk about it because you don't question that. That's not good. We have to do better. I 100% agree because things like that, you're taught to not speak up, to not tell anything or you also got to check your words on how you say the stuff because some kids are afraid to speak up because they know what the reaction or the result may be if they do speak up.
One thing that I not to go in depth, but I had a conversation with my oldest daughter. She's a freshman in high school, and we had a nice long conversation with me, her, and her mother, and that conversation, it's how it started was there was an assumption that I was going to react a certain way. And when I didn't react that way, there was like it was like a light went off, like, okay. And to me, that was almost like the guard went down.
Right.
And
probably allowed her to tell even more stuff that she wanted to tell.
Exactly. And that's what I want from my kids is to have a respect that not necessarily like a fear, like scared fear, but a fear like out of respect almost. And know that your dad is still understanding, that he knows that all types of situations can happen. You have all types of emotions, feelings, thoughts, whatever the case may be. If you can talk to me, just because you may think I don't agree or you think that I'm going to get mad or whatever the case may be, I respect you for first coming to talk to me. And then I'm going to just talk to you as a elder talking to someone who has been through whatever situations that I've been through that I can feel to give you all type of wisdom. And at the end of the day, I'm going to love you regardless, whether or not you get an F on your test or an A on your test. I just want to see you try. I want to see the effort put forth. And if you can honestly tell me that there was no effort put forth, I can respect that.
Right.
And it's just that you have accountability now, right? So now you've taken that, and that's a step that I know just me, I didn't have when I was younger. You know what I mean? So just having that openness allows the kids to have that accountability when they mess up and knowing that they mess up or knowing that they can actually come to their parents and just talk.
Right.
Not like we're friends, kiki, hee hee, ha ha, all that. But like I can come to you as a person who has been this age before.
Right.
And you're not going to what?
Thinking about Siani when she told us that she could help Nehemiah with his homework because she's been in kindergarten before.
I was like,
so I didn't get a bachelor's degree but I didn't go to kindergarten.
I think from what I remember, I only remember my teacher, to be quite honest. Everything else is a blur.
All I remember, I was the tallest kid in the class.
That was probably always the case.
So 7th grade,
I was like second or third for the longest time in my class as far as tall.
I was the tallest girl and boy till 7th grade. But
she says, I am all for apologizing and also explain things before disciplining my kids.
Yeah, I'm working on that part. Because sometimes Neo gets popped before I explain it to him, but then I will explain to him what happened. Because sometimes that boy, he just needs a pluck real quick. Like he asked me tonight.
I love my son, man. I mean, of course, I love my kids, but my son is extremely blunt. Extremely blunt.
He's worse than me at it.
Yeah, like, and
he I was folding clothes in his room.
Mm-hmm.
And he walks in his room, he turns his TV on, he looks at me, he goes, I don't want you in my room right now.
How do you respond to that? It's a 5-year-old that tells you that they don't want you in their room. Like that's something you get from preteen to teen.
I said, don't you never say that to me again. I'm gonna be here anytime I want to be. He's a jerk.
Did you apologize for how you said it?
Not in that moment, but I did apologize to him one day last week at school. No, the other day, going to school because he wanted to be a butthole.
You felt the way.
You did feel the way. Like, you gonna tell me you want me in your room? I'm sitting here folding your clothes, putting your clothes away, and you tell me you don't want me in your room.
That was a mother-son offense. Like you felt the way because that was your son telling you that. I think you would expect that from the daughters, but the son, especially at 5.
I just Cinderellaed your room, hands and knees, scrubbing your floor, cleaning your room, getting your stuff situated.
So,
and you want to talk crap to me?
Miss Short says she can't type fast enough, but she is very passionate about this topic. I am very intentional with looking at the bigger picture and how I parent my children. How will this affect them in the long run versus parents did it so it's okay. Okay.
Please. You want to join in? You want to join our live?
Oh, you want to join in? Yeah, we can send you the link.
See what she said.
Now we need to finish the. I respect your feelings and your opinion, but as a parent, I have a final say. Get you on. Yeah. Now, if you do come in, she said no. Okay. But I say we got some rules and regular. No, I'm messing. But I definitely agree that. I mean, and see, this is where I think that like when we talk about generational parenting, I think that the parents before us did the same thing. What? As far as taking things that happen and with their parents and trying to tweak it.
Yeah.
And I think that just with us, where it's vastly different is the way that society is. Like, let's be honest. Like, society has gone very sensitive when it comes to cancel culture, what you can and what you can't say. Mm-hmm. So it's like you're walking on eggshells, along with the fact that everything is filmed now.
Yeah.
So.
Because you can't even, you'll get up in the store without somebody wanting to call CPS.
Right. You. Like, it's like.
Saved him from running out in the parking lot, but yeah, you want to get on me because I yoked him up. It was by any means necessary at that point.
Right. So it's a lot of things that, like, I mean, back then it would seem normal, and now it's because it's so sensitive that it can be taken out of context. So I think that we're as a whole, I think that we're just trying to figure it out, like all the other generations in the past. And just tweaking some things. And really, I think that can just help as a whole.
Oh, Lord, I have footsteps.
I do too. So on that note, since we hear footsteps.
He might have just got himself together. His sister might have stopped him. We shall see. We shall see. Where's somebody? What do you say?
Yeah, you definitely.
Are you done yet?
It's like, yo. Bro, you are not my father. Man. Why are you coming down here? Yeah, but
it's funny.
I love my kids though, and I think that being a parent is a joy.
It is. It really is
definitely a joy. And it's you can, like I've said before, you can learn a lot about yourself if you really pay attention to your kids. Because then it's like some things you're like, I did that. But they've never seen me like that. They've never seen, so yeah, it's genetics. Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, needless to say, I said it only once. I think. I don't know. We had to run the tape back.
We shall see.
It's had a joyful headache. No, I'm not gonna say headache. My wife may, but
because as a man, unless you're a single dad, you don't get as much of the headache as the mom get. And I say that because you and
different. It's different.
You can be on the couch. No, you can be on the couch. I can be in the basement, and all of those kids are gonna walk past you to come to me.
That's a fact.
And that is any mother, father. I ain't gonna say any. And I'm not digging up my nose. I ain't gonna say any mother and father, but majority of the situations, the kid is always gonna come to the mom for something. It's always gonna be the mom doing everything because the dad is going to be like, tell me what to do. Why? Ain't nobody got to tell me what to do. Sorry, bring it back. But I'm just saying, it's definitely a joyful headache. Yes. She said it's a bipolar feeling for sure.
It's a bipolar feeling? Oh my gosh.
How many times I'll be sitting there talking to the kids, laughing and playing, and they do something stupid.
Yeah.
And then I got to yell, like literally flip the switch. And now we got to get back into happy, joyous mode because we was in the middle of playing. So it's definitely a bipolar mode.
We were shooting shots in the basement. And listen, a fun moment can turn fast real quick with the kids. Like, but you just gotta tough it out because it's like these are the memories that they are going to have for the rest of their life and cherish.
And you don't want to crush their soul.
Exactly.
Can't tell you, man, this gonna sound so rude. I cuss my kids out of my head all the time. So I'm like, I don't care. Shut up. Shut up. You talk too much. But I will play it off and they will never know. Lord, like, I think it was Siani talking to me the other day. I was like, in my head, I don't care. I don't care about what you're talking about. But I played it off. But I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one.
You probably aren't. I try to not saying that I don't care. I try to stay because like
doing something.
But they're excited.
And I know, and that's why I don't say anything.
Right.
That's why I play it off. I've mastered oh my God, for real? No idea what you're talking about. Oh my God, it is so cool. No idea what you're talking about. Neo, look at this. Wow, tell me what it is. Because I don't know and I don't care. It's a letter O. That is so awesome. I'm proud of you. Are you proud of yourself? Yes. And I'll flip it around like that.
Fun talking to them. Just listening to like their thought process, just everything says I low-key love crushing their little souls. Oh my gosh, Brad. Come on, Brad. I'll be looking mad. You're smiling inside. Oh man. I'm not a soul crusher.
I have done that with Nehemiah. I'll fake yelling at him just to see his little sad face come up and then I smooth it over.
No, there's times to where I have soul crushed and then someone says that I'm too mean. I'm like, wait a minute. You
already look mean and then you do a mean action that you think you joking and playing and I'm like,
yeah, like it hits them different. It really hits them different. Yeah. It's like when Danny says something, it's like, oh my God. I'm like, yo. They're like, yo, get over it, man. It's done and over with. Just learn the lesson. Don't do it again. Move on. Please. I get it. You're going to repeat it. Trust me. I'm a repeated offender of a lot of things that I should be doing. At 37, I still try to work on it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I try to give my kids the grace that I hope that God gives me. So, man. It is fun the first time, but they tell the stories to tell. Oh my gosh. Over and over. All right. No, we're not going to badmouth the kids. We're going to be some good millennial parents.
We are good millennial parents. I got to tell this one. Siani came home and told me a situation with her and her friend. And I was sitting there like, this don't make no sense at all. And she was like, but I did this. And I'm like, but it sounds dumb. What are you talking about? She was like, oh, I said this because of this. And then this happened. And I'm like, we're missing a step and I'm not communicating well with you because I have no idea what you're talking about. And this is stupid. And then she finally told me the step that she was missing. And I was like, now things make sense. Why are you doing this to me? We just spent 10 minutes talking about nothing.
But see, if your engagement, that there was a step missing.
I was about to swipe that child like you know how they do in the karate? When you like when somebody's standing and you get down and swipe around with your feet and knock them down. That's what I wanted to do to her, but my knees ain't good, so I couldn't do it. Did it?
My uncle said I am learning to unlearn some of that old parenting.
Yes.
I caught myself carrying into my definitely. Definitely. And not to say that anything that we've learned from our parents is bad at all. It's just that, like you said, you got to unlearn some things. And I mean, they always say, oh, that's a different generation. They say, every generation. But I mean, in a sense, like, it's a different time. It is not 1990s, not the 2000s.
Like, the 2000s.
The 1900s. That makes me feel It's like, what?
That's just disrespectful.
When my daughter told me that,
You was born way back in the 1980s.
1900s.
Girl, if you
I
don't get
said,
somewhere.
oh my gosh.
Rude.
Man, listen, I done seen Atari, Nintendo, Sega, all the way down to your virtual reality. We had some virtual reality that, you know what,
Did we?
it was something like that. I don't know. It was probably like some like starter, like how they did with the cell phones in the bag back in the 80s. That type, you know what? Never mind. So that's true. Quote that really resonated with me was something like, "You can't raise your children the way your parents raised you because the world they were preparing you, no longer exists."
That is
a
very
fact.
true.
So
That
I'm
is
trying to prepare
very
my
true.
kids for the metaverse.
Why do you keep saying
Because
that?
it's a virtual reality, and you just can play games, and they're actually selling real estate.
In the virtual,
Yes, Snoop Dogg bought some real estate. It's like it's not just saying, but it's becoming a thing.
that's
It's like
crazy.
Nike is trademarked there, and they're selling their products.
Well, let me go and get Simply Shondell in there then.
Well, we can figure that out. I mean, but you definitely gotta see what wave is coming. And he said, sounds like a true real estate agent. I mean, that was one of the first things that I seen. Like, listen, they're actually selling property. How can I? You know what? Let me help you buy a virtual house.
He's silly.
Nah, I want to get some of this real property. So, we're gonna end it on.
You like being a parent?
I love being a parent with you.
Parenting with you is fun too.
It is. It is definitely a joyous.
Especially when the kids can't see both of our faces at the same time.
I need to work with my wife with that, man, because she will laugh in our kid's face.
Sure will.
And it's like,
especially Neil crying.
Or if there's discipline that needs to happen, and like I'm saying something and I see her in the background laughing, and then like when they leave, we just
talk about it.
Yeah. So that's fun. It's sometimes wrong timing, but it's fun. Definitely fun. Definitely fun. So enjoy being a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy evolving as a parent and parenting your kids, I would say. Mm-hmm. And you're never too old to learn. That would be my wrap up statement. Yeah, my closing statement. What you got?
What do I got?
What you got?
Kids are jerks, but love them all the same.
Man, jeez, kids are not jerks. She says, I'm bad at trying to keep my face together. You and her the same, man.
Yep.
You and her the same. You got to be stone faced. And then when they leave, you can do all the
whatever it'd be funny.
You want to do.
It'd be funny.
It does be funny in the moment, but you got
Neil yelled at me. Why are you laughing? Sorry, son. It's funny. It's not funny. It is. It really is.
But you gotta. Okay, we're not even. All right. So, what's your final
thoughts? Kids are jerks, but love them anyway.
I just stole that from Speak On It. Sorry, Speak On It, fellas. The final thought.
Oh, you're funny. That's silly.
So, we thank everyone for tuning in.
Yes, thank you.
If you're listening on Spotify, we thank you for taking your time out to listen to us. Watching on YouTube or Facebook, we thank you for tuning into our lovely faces. Our next episode. Like, subscribe, and share.
Yes.
All that.
We need all that.
See, we teetering on that. What was it, Jerry? I don't know.
Shiani told me I was a cool mom, so you said what you want about yourself. I ain't teetering on nothing. She told me I was a cool mom. She said, because I said, I was talking about the food and I tasted the fish that I cooked for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh, she was like, you celebrating your own food? I said, oh yeah, because it's busting. And she started laughing. I said, did I say it right? She was like, yeah, you did. She said, you know how some parents like try to act like they're cool and say cool stuff and it sounds dumb? Yeah, yours don't sound dumb at all. You actually sound like a cool mom.
I do it on purpose. I'll say the wrong thing just to get a rise out of them and laugh. Like, yo.
They ain't gonna play me behind my back. You know they rude.
I might have one little something. Look, I got some drip, don't I? I'm dripping. You know, Siani, look at me how funny.
And it should.
Kimura look at me like. But I just do that on purpose.
Yeah.
Say, I'm gonna try and catch you on. Make sure you let me know when you're on. Definitely. It's every other Wednesday at 8:00.
Ain't nobody gonna remember that. Well,
Okay.
follow
All right.
our page on
Yep,
Facebook
there you go.
and and Instagram. They're both the same. A seat at the dinner table.
Mhm.
And I sounded real Virginia.
It comes
And
out
they
every now and then.
will have our updates on what's coming up.
Had to love you too.
Love you too.
Our next episode, it'll be Entrepreneur Spotlight.
We still have some spots available coming up in the summertime. So if you are an entrepreneur or you know someone that wants to be spotlighted and talk about their business or whatever they're doing, hit us up.
We are entrepreneurs and we love talking to other entrepreneurs.
Right.
And getting advice from them and tips and whatnot and just sharing gems.
Yes. I would definitely say, sorry.
No.
I would definitely say tune in because a lot of these businesses that we have coming up, they, like he said, they're sharing some real gems about what they're doing and possibly like how they got into it that could help you out too. So.
And I'm gonna not say who we're gonna have on in February.
No.
I'm gonna just do like a flyer and say who we're gonna have on.
Just like that.
There you go. Do it again.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you guys for tuning in, listening in. You guys enjoy your evening, enjoy your day, and take care. God bless. And we're back. And we're gonna say goodnight.
Are you serious? Oh my God.